Hi, this is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and I'm Siofra Bradigan. So, since we're trying to organize and arrange a premier um, live healing circle, like you all suggested, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about doing healing circles in general and maybe some specifics about the one we're going to be attempting to do. So, really, our group was always focused on healing each other, healing ourselves, sending healing energy to the earth, and it it's a purpose I can certainly get behind and something I enjoy doing. There's various ways of sending healing energy to people, and of course, as always, as far as our personal attitudes and ideologies and so forth went, we always needed to have an actual confirmation of acceptance of healing energy from anyone who wasn't in our group that we were going to be sending energy to. There's one exception to that, and that is if someone is in a coma. Um, it depends upon how you feel about it. If you know them and you know them really well, and you know that they wouldn't want you to send them healing energy, even if they were needing it, um, you could decide not to do that, even under those circumstances. As far as like how society sees it, um, if you're if you're in a some kind of a medical crisis and there's EMTs surrounding you in an ambulance and you've been telling them all along that you don't want them to treat you and then you become unconscious, they will treat you because they have this thing called implied consent. The idea is if you're unconscious and any reasonable person would want life-saving measures to be taken in order to save their life. So, on that level, we figured if someone was in a coma, it was probably okay for us to send them healing energy, unless, as previously stated, they had already indicated that they weren't okay with that. And it's just a politeness thing as well as honoring someone's free will to decide for themselves what they will or won't accept and what they are not okay with. And regardless of how we might feel about them as a human and not want them to leave or go or whatever, um, it's still their choice. So with that in mind, anytime we're doing anything like that together, we definitely want to have you know actual consent, not just implied consent. And if if it's possible. So doing healing, well, one of the things you need to do, or is a good idea to do anyway, is to raise energy first. So if you're doing this in a healing or a ritual environment like we tend to do, then depending on your traditions and your practice, whether you cast a circle or don't cast a circle, whether you purify yourself or it's not that important to you, um, whether you gather with a large group, a small group, or just on your own, whatever it is that you are used to doing and that you're doing on a regular basis, then that's what you generally would do. But the idea is to create an environment where you can raise energy, focus and concentrate, and then put your energy for healing thoughts and stuff like that into another person. Now, as someone who has done long distance healing and had great success with it in certain circumstances, one of the things that I'm used to is being able to spend time to focus and concentrate on the person I'm trying to send the energy to. I see a lot of groups where, people are like, send your prayers, send your energy, my so and so is in the hospital. And for me, without specific information like what's their name, I mean, a lot of times people say it's my aunt or my mother or my uncle, or, it's like they don't even say the name of the person. that they're wanting energy to, and everybody pops in and says, healing energy sent, prayers sent, blah, blah, blah. And I wonder, how? How will the universe know who this person is and where this energy is to be sent when this is just some random post on Facebook by someone you've never actually met in person? I mean, if you know them, that's different, but if you don't know them, is it just sort of a method to make people feel like they're doing something even when they're not necessarily doing anything, where you figure somehow the universe is going to figure out which Bob Smith in the world needs this energy, or John Doe in this case, if you don't even know the name. So when I'm doing that kind of work, I want to know the actual name of the person. If I'm doing a specific type of healing on them, I want to know their actual location. That's kind of important for me, because I go there either in the astral or the mental plane, generally the mental plane, because it's faster and easier to get there for me, and then do the healing when I arrive and see what I see and all that other stuff. And in a group, I like to, if I'm with a group of people, we want to focus on together on that person. And if I don't know them personally, but someone else in the group I'm in knows them, then what I do is I focus on the name that they've given, and then I put the energy in the hands of the person who knows them, so that the energy will go where it's intended, even if I've never met the person before. I think good way of explaining it. So ritual is a good method for containing and then raising energy, so then you can send that energy somewhere. That's the point of a circle when it comes to magic, the kind of magic I do anyway. The reason for putting a circle around a space is because, like water, which has no shape of its own, energy is even less substantial than water. And so if you're going to collect energy together, you need a container of some kind. So an energetic container, in this case a circle, becomes the container for the energy. And then you collect that energy during the ritual inside the circle. Then when you get to the part of the ritual where you're sending healing energy, you have a collection of energy that you've raised that then you can send to the person you're trying to heal or assist in whatever's going on with them. So when we do the live one, when we do the premiere and do it live, I will have cast a circle here first before we get started, because that'll be my preparation for doing it, in order to be a fully participant as possible. And so I would also cleanse myself either with sage or sweetgrass or frankincense or whatever, so that my mind is as much in the right frame. So leaving everyday ordinary reality behind, creating a sacred space, entering into that sacred space, and then focusing and concentrating and raising energy. And so we did the sacred tree meditation, which I've shared with you all, and the healing chant. And that became kind of the main thing that we did in our group, because it's a very good vehicle for raising energy, clearing the self, grounding the self, and pulling that life force energy into the circle that we would create. So if you're doing this with a group of people, then you're going to want to be seated comfortably, whether it's on the floor or in chairs. So plan ahead, and you want to be holding hands. And in this case, our focus for up here, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you might do it the opposite. But our focus up here is to make the energy go around in a clockwise direction. So I know this looks like I'm going counterclockwise, but that's because it's a camera and it turns everything in the opposite direction. but going in a clockwise direction. And so we're trying to share the energy through the people in the group as we're building the energy and doing the meditation. And so to do that, we have our right hand as the receiving hand and our left hand as the uh, exit moving active hand or what have you. Yeah. So we hold it this way. So I'm getting energy from the person next to me and sending that energy through the person on my left. I get the energy from the right and to the left and all the way through everyone, and we're all doing that together. So having our hands in that direction, which is kind of the opposite of what people think, because they think this is the receptive, this is the active. Well, really, that really depends upon whether you're right-handed or left-handed. There's no one way has to be this way or the other. It's a matter of what the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish happens to be. So in this case, the purpose is to get that circle of energy going inside the circle I've already cast and have the energy flowing and building up as we do the meditation practice, and then as we do the healing chant and heal ourselves and build up a reservoir of healing energy. The first few times that we did this as a group, I noticed that there was an issue, at least for me and my husband, Ian, because when we came to the point where after we finished the meditation, everything was nice and quiet and still, and that was when people would put a name into the center of the circle. And the idea would be we would visualize the person being in the center of the circle and filling them with the healing energy that we had collected and raised up. And people were just throwing names in one after another, not giving me or Ian any time to shift gears and focus on that one individual. So I had to modify how we were doing that. And I thought, each individual person deserves at least 10 seconds of my time uninterrupted. And so we explained to the group that this wasn't working for us. And, we were doing great up until that point. So when you put a name in, don't just jump in and do another one right away. Let's focus all of our attention, everyone's attention on this one person to send them as much healing energy as we can, and then move on to the next one. And so then it started to work better. And it is sort of like I found that up in the prison as well when I was doing healing circles up there. The guys would do the same kind of thing. They'd just start throwing people in, and a few of them couldn't comprehend needing permission, and so when I had one particular inmate in my circle, I had to stop doing healing circles because he would just pick people and throw them in, and I knew that he had not asked permission. And since I was lending my energy to the enterprise, I considered that it was important for me to not participate in something that someone else might be, object to. So, we sometimes, this is not just the normal healing circle, like when we were doing it all together like that, but every so often we would put an individual in the center and do the chant around them and change the words of the chant, the healing chant. Instead of deep in my bones, the goddess is alive, it would be deep in your bones, the goddess is alive. You sort of modify the phraseology, and it's pretty easy to figure out how to modify that in order to send all the energy into one person, the person that's sitting in the center of the circle, which was an extremely powerful experience to have. All really enjoyed when it was our turn to be in the center of the circle and absorb all that energy. So we also realized we could use that same tactic for making, doing distance healing. So on your own, visualizing the person you're sending healing energy to, using the healing chant modified like that to send them energy, and again, with their permission. So I think that that trying to heal others and heal the planet is important work, and so I'm very interested in attempting this to see how it works. So if you're wanting to participate in the live event that we're planning. It's not going to be on the 4th of July, which is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. We're going to wait until at least the Sunday after that before we do it. And it'll probably take us that long to get everything together anyway. And so you have some time to watch the different videos that will be a part of this. And of course, the sacred tree meditation and the healing chant combined is going to be the beginning of the premiere after a little intro so that we can put this stuff together so everyone has a chance. And so if you have a group of people and you want them to participate, have them there and be ready to do it. You know, get your other stuff done, whether it's the cleansing and the casting of the circle or whether it's just the gathering and the sitting in chairs, whatever it happens to be. You know, if you're not comfortable with doing circles, that's fine. You know, do whatever you feel comfortable doing. And then later you might decide that you like the idea or it works fine without it. It all depends on your particular brain patterns and mindset and relationship with the universe, and sometimes the tradition that you're following. So, we'll start off with that, and this afternoon we're actually going to make the song video for the ritual. So the songs we're going to do is going to be the "We All Come from the Goddess," and we do that 4 times. Then we do "Isis, Astarte, Diana," and we do that 5 times. And then we do the "Hoof and Horn," and we do that 3 times. And then if you have 3 people to do it together with, you can sing all 3 songs simultaneously. And we're going to do that. We're going to sing all 3 songs simultaneously. So my daughter's coming over to be our 3rd voice for this. And so it'll be her, me, and Ian. And so we'll have that made. It'll be ready to go. So if you don't know the words, if you haven't learned the songs and haven't watched the pagan song video, you can just listen and focus when we get to that part. Or if you have, sing along. If you only have yourself, you're just, alone, pick one of the songs when we do all 3 of them simultaneously to add to the mix at your end. So, any one of the 3 songs will be fine. And then at the end of the singing, there'll be some silence for a little bit. And then we'll go live, as in communicating with each other. And that's where we're trying to figure out how we want to do that. So you all are going to have to give this some thought and decide how you want it to be handled. But again, I want to give at least 10 seconds to each person who wants to be included in this worldwide ritual, since we have members from all over the planet. So if you want specific energy sent to you or to a loved one you've gotten permission from, if you could send us their name, we will have a list of names. Also, though, the chat feature will be functioning when we get to the live part of after the premiere is over and we've done that part. So you can type it in, but try not to type too many things too quickly, because I want to spend at least 10 full seconds on each name. And all of us together will hopefully be spending that amount of time on each name. I don't know how the slight delay but it's not that big of a delay, so if we do a little bit over 10 seconds, we should be able to cover that and not be lagging or too much behind. So yeah. So what we'll be working with is going to be the universal life force energy that's just freely available everywhere whenever you take a breath, if you are focused and concentrating on that and building that energy up. Just trying to think if there's anything else to say about this experiment or about this in general. Of course, after we're done, especially since we're actually doing a ritual format here, then make sure you have food available to eat afterwards, even if it's just something small, but something to help ground you afterwards. And And then when we're finished with it, it'll be up to you to undo the parts that you have done before we got together, like undo your circle and ground yourself and all the other things that are involved in that. So if you need any refreshers in that or want to ask any questions in the next two live shows, this will be the time for your input in order to figure out exactly what we might need to know. So the better able you are to do the concentration and visualization of the meditational practice, the more powerful this experience will be for us, for you, for whoever in your life needs healing energy. If you're a Reiki master, of course, you can use that to send energy along as well. But you don't have to be a Reiki practitioner to do energy distance healing. It's not a requirement. It's just a different form. Um, it, it's like it's just one way of doing it. Because I didn't learn Reiki for many, many years, and I was doing a lot of psychic healing. I didn't know what else to call it, and energy healing and stuff like that from the time I was little, like 4 years old or so. So, laying on hands and feeling the energy, putting the energy into people, and so forth. This is actually probably about the safest way to do energy healing if you're not doing it on somebody in person, because then chances of getting any backlash for any reason whatsoever, unless you're trying to go against their will, is pretty slim. So yeah, I guess this is not going to be too long because I just want to, touch bases with this and make sure you have as much information about this upcoming event as possible. And if this works well, we might be able to plan other ones or do this one again in the future. Tonight is the full moon, so obviously we're not doing a full moon thing at the moment. But, it's an intriguing idea to use this platform to raise energy like that. And I've participated in some like worldwide type meditations and stuff that people have had where you just do it yourself. And we had one where it was like 8 o'clock your time that you were sending healing energy to the earth wherever you were, and I could actually feel the other groups that were doing it. So that was kind of interesting to feel a network of that energy um, flying around from one time zone to another as we were going around the sun and going around our axis there. So it was, I know that that's a possibility. So um, if you get any insights, flashes, visions while we're doing the meditation or the healing, when it's done, write them down. So one, you won't forget what happened, and two, you can share with us if you feel you want to. It would be interesting to see what kinds of things might come out of this type of an experience because, yeah, I never imagined something like this, so it's all new to me. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Can't really think of anything else at the moment. So I'll leave you with this, and you can do your homework. And some of you I'll see on the live show. We're getting a bunch of new subscribers again. So if you really want to support me, especially if you live in the United States, since we're not doing subscriptions for this channel because we don't want to get into the salesman stuff a lot or anything. But you can always become a patron on my Patreon page for as little as $5 a month, and you don't have to do it forever. You can do it for a month or 2 months, or you know, you can come and go as you please. And any support we get that way would be greatly appreciated. We also have that feature turned on now for the live shows, which is that super chat, I guess, where people can send money that way. And certainly, if you're not in the United States, that's probably an easier way to send us any support that you feel you can either afford or want to help us do this more. Um, yeah. We're not very wealthy people. We're doing this for love. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, that's where that is at, and hope you all are having a great week. And if you have any questions, send them to my email at shifrasmagicalcove@gmail.com that we can talk about on the live show. And like I said, make notes and figure out what it is you might want to know more about, or any suggestions you might have if you've participated in something like this previously. I would love to know what things to look out for. The great experiment continues. So, hope you all have a lovely time. I hope you're having a good full moon tonight, and I'll talk to you guys later. So, this is Siofra's Magic Alcove, and this is Siofra Bradigan. Blessed be.